Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
And today we're going to be talking about Kevin Smith. Drew, my man, I think we've known each other for a really long time. I think you know my love for Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've dragged you to see maybe at least one of his films.
Oh, yeah.
I love me some Kevin Smith, man. I love the heart in his movies. I love his audacity. He is a filmmaker that he just doesn't care about the establishment. And if you've ever seen any of his evenings with, where it's basically a stand-up, he's honestly kind of a stand-up as well. But he will talk blatantly about his relationships with Hollywood heavy hitters. And I'm sure that those things have helped to make him a little bit of a recluse in Hollywood. However, as of late, principally because he had a heart attack almost 2 years ago, I believe. His star has risen a little bit. He since then has actually gotten two things that he probably wouldn't have gotten. First, he got an Inkpot Award at Comic-Con, which is something that is usually given to a person who has contributed something to the comic world. And then he's also gotten the distinction of having his footprints and handprints bestowed onto the Chinese man's theater in Hollywood, which, if you think about it, really big because it's one of the oldest traditions in Hollywood. And there is only about 3 other directors who have that distinction on that Walk of Fame. I think what it is that currently in the movie industry, I think there is legitimately a large portion, maybe like 30%, of people in the movie industry who were directly influenced by Kevin Smith and the thing that he does. He's a man who was just always loved Hollywood. My man, do you like yourself some Kevin Smith?
Oh man, I love me some Kevin Smith, man. Like Kevin, I think one of the first things I ever watched, I was a little late to the game, but like one of the first things I watched was Clerks 2 with you. Or like we were going to go watch Clerks 2 and you told me I had to watch Clerks 1 before setting off in our adventure.
Dude, we saw it in your living room. I think it was on a DVD in your living room. I know. I remember watching Clerks at your place. Sorry.
Yeah, man. And I was like, I didn't know. I was like, is this going to be in black and white the whole time? And I was just like, wait, what? And then,
you know what? I think that was the first time I saw it too. Because I think I had seen Mallrats first. That was my first Kevin Smith movie. Mm-hmm. And then I hadn't seen Clerks 2, but I wanted to see it. And I wanted you to watch it with me. First Clerks with me so that we both have an understanding of what this is.
And I know during that summer we went on like a full on like movie watching thing where we try to watch all of them at some point.
Yeah.
I know like nowadays Dogma is very hard to find. Like really hard to find because of the streaming. There is no streaming rights. So
it's because it makes a lot of money on DVD.
Yeah.
It is one of the best-selling DVD Blu-rays ever. Yeah.
And so, like, I know I was trying to rewatch it because I love rewatching Kevin Smith movies. I rewatched Chasing Amy, and it was really weird. I think I watched it so much in my teens, or like, before college, that I didn't really understand Chasing Amy. Yeah. And then, like, I watched it a couple of years ago, and it really, like, hit hard. I was like, man, that was a fucking good movie. I totally get what he was saying.
Yeah, and it's a movie that you don't get unless you've lived some life, been in relationships, or like have been adjacent to relationships. It hits hard, and I remember Kevin talking about the premiere of Chasing Amy at Sundance or like some film festival, and he said that like at the end of it when he was giving a Q&A, person who had the mic to ask a question, it was a woman, and she didn't ask a question. She literally just said, "Thank you for making this movie." I thought it was a really like important film for the time. I think I was definitely too young to even understand what was going on in that time. But like researching the film and watching it later, it really did. It has a Criterion Collection.
I want to say that like all his movies have like a very like fun friendship ambiance to them.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they all have a deeper meaning of where of where maybe Kevin Smith is in his life,
Yeah.
and then like and it kind of just resembles on like where a person of that kind of age and what they've been going through is in with their life. So I always loved how he kind of hit on multiple levels in his film writing. And like I don't know if many people still like kind of do that, where like I mean there's just so many levels of how funny Kevin Smith is, but how serious he is in the same movie. And I've always enjoyed it. I really like it. So when you tell me Clerks 3 is like I'm not gonna believe it until I see it, because I remember this is kind of the way Clerks 2 was like nobody believed there was going to be a Clerks 2.
Right.
And like, well, lo and behold, it finally came out. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm pumped for this.
Yes. So, the news broke, ladies and gentlemen. Clerks 3 is in the works. I see what you're saying about Clerks 1, because like, Clerks 2. I understand that a lot of fans of the original Clerks, who are probably a little older than us, probably don't like Clerks 2. I get that on the internet a lot. But I fucking adore Clerks 2. I think it's a fantastic movie and one of my favorite films ever. It just blends everything together in a juicy morsel. It has a fucking dance sequence in the middle of it, and a donkey, in a very raunchy scene. It just has everything. I think I took my parents to watch it for sure. And I know I did. I did. My mom watched. I watched that with you and my parents. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
So
I do remember
funny.
that.
That was great. But yes, again, Kevin Smith. And actually, this is where things get a little bit more, I think, set in stone for this one. Lionsgate and Kevin Smith both made these announcements. Lionsgate has purchased the rights to Kevin Smith's Clerks 3. That gives this project a little bit more credence, because it's obviously going to be financed by Lionsgate, which, speaks to a couple things. It means that, A, Lionsgate is happy with this script. They have to be for a project like this. And two, Kevin Smith still has a pull in Hollywood. And I'm fucking really, really excited about that. I want to just talk about like square details about like the actual movie. So this article is on Deadline, one of the best journalistic websites for Hollywood. This article goes on to stipulate, like kind of tell you exactly what the movie's going to be about. So essentially, he's written Clerks 3 to kind of be an allegory for Clerks and the way he filmed it. So the plot details that we got is the fact that Randall, just like Kevin Smith, had a heart attack and fears for his mortality, and sets off to make a movie about being a clerk while using his exact convenience store to film that movie. This is, there is a lot that can happen here, right? Like in my head, I'm thinking, is Kevin Smith going to redo Clerks while at the same time using the Clerks characters to redo it? You know what I mean? Like he's like incepting his own way into redoing the original Clerks.
Yeah.
Is he going to? I imagine it's going to be about him being older, which these as you said earlier, these movies are about that. Him being older, and he translates his life into the screen, because art is that way. Art should imitate life, and he's done a great job in his very successful career. Also, kind of has an empire, and might outlast Hollywood because he's his release model. But I can't stop imagining the ways that he will redo Clerks. Like if you've seen Clerks, there's a lot in that movie that can be turned up to a degree.
Yeah.
Where there is a Lionsgate budget. You know what I mean? Also, Lionsgate, they have Hunger Games money, for sure. And they are actually filming this in Jersey, as Kevin Smith loves himself some fucking Jersey. All right. So Drew, what do you think about this project? Where you remember where the characters left off in the last one, right? Also, Rosario Dawson is coming back as well. So they're really doing a true sequel with everyone back. Randall's back. Everyone's back to do this film, which I'm not sure how they got that to happen. Apparently, he's a dude who just like he's just a guy. Like he doesn't do any other movies. He doesn't even do theater. Like Dante, the other guy, that guy, he actually like does acting. Like he does like little stuff locally, and he actually like does stage plays and stuff like that. He's actually a career actor. The Randall character, I think he literally owns a flooring company and just comes out of retirement to do Kevin Smith movies. To just play Randall.
I mean, that's crazy, man. Like that's really awesome that he's just a normal guy, normal one of us. But yeah, like I guess with Lionsgate, maybe Kevin Smith can finally pursue his dreams because he's never had full budget movie status for this storyline.
No, not for this storyline. Yeah,
and so like Clerks was like, I think original Clerks was like, I don't know if this is correct or not, but like, was it filmed in Austin or was it filmed in Jersey also?
The original Clerks? Oh, the original Clerks was filmed in Jersey. In the convenience store he worked at.
In that same convenience store, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, I mean, like that was in the 90s though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think it was like literally 89 or like,
yeah.
I could just look that shit up. It was definitely 90.
Yeah. 93 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, dude, he's always just kind of been really scrappy with the budget he's had, and it's always turned into good things. So like, I don't know, I always felt like when he got Clerks 2, my initial reaction was just like, oh man, they gave him a lot of money and he did some fucked up shit, but I didn't know if it was necessarily as good as Clerks 1 was at the time.
Yes.
And then now, I mean, like now I just don't know. I don't know, man. It's been so long now. You know what I mean? It's going to be like another 10 years until we get this movie from like, the original. And so like that's 27 years from the original Clerks. That's a long time to get and the third one.
I also want to say this. I'm happy that this is happening because I missed this Kevin Smith for the last 5-6 years and 3 movies. He is very much swayed away from his usual, just goofy characters hanging out to more kind of, I mean, he kind of ran the gamut. We're talking like he did a fucking shootout movie that totally involved the Waco thingy with John Goodman in Red State, which was completely out of left field. And then he did a walrus movie about a man turning into a walrus that was just simply about him literally him coming up with it on the fly, getting high on a podcast. And then he did a movie about children clerks fighting fucking midget Nazis that look like sausage hymns. Like these films are like, he's been very whimsical and very much just doing his thing.
It's kind of funny that we're talking about this on the day of his Netflix premiere for Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe is set to release July 23rd. I'm
excited for that. Yes, I heard him talking about that as well. Yes,
and so like I think that's kind of funny. Just coincidence, I guess. But I mean,
that's a buy right now.
Yeah, I mean, he has some momentum going into this, so hopefully it will be like, I'll never forget, like his story about the Nicolas Cage the Superman Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh, and
how that story ends up being Wild Wild West with Will Smith. Like, if you don't know that video, you just Google Kevin Smith and the giant spider,
or like any evening with Kevin Smith. I mean, his specials are fucking great. If you like anything about Hollywood too, they're great.
But you're right, man. Like it's been a long time since we've gotten that silly coming of age Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of Jay and Silent Bob stuff, but like it was that like more in depth Jay and Silent Bob stuff that we really loved.
Yeah,
and so hopefully,
you got a little bit of that in 3. Not a lot.
Yeah.
You gotta good. There was some genuinely masterful moments in Jay and Silent Bob 2. But I mean, it was overall just a farce. But there was like one moment that was so fucking funny. It's probably one of the most raunchy, most funny moments I've seen in a movie in a long fucking time in that movie as well. But yeah, also great movie if you just like Kevin Smith movies. But I just kind of want to put that in there while you were talking. Pardon me for interrupting you, sir.
No, all good, man. All good. Yeah, yeah. Like, no, I think you're right, man. Like, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this with the budget it has. I hope it's everything I dreamed of. I hope he kind of can like put a nice like finish to the story.
Yes.
I hope he gets like what he needs for the story to end is kind of how I'm thinking about it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like I really hope that we get like a good coming of age classic Clerk story.
Absolutely. Like I want a good, clean, regular old Kevin Smith film from the late '90s, early 2000s. I want to cry. I want to laugh my ass off, and I don't want to show this to my parents. Like, does that? If I get all that, I will be absolutely happy. I think we did it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. What are your favorite Kevin Smith movies? There's a lot of them. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
Go watch a fucking movie.